Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. Our goal here is really to pull out the core insights for you, especially if you're looking for, well, more purpose and strength in how you live. Think of this as a shortcut to grasping these pretty powerful ideas.
Yeah, and it's important to see why these rules really resonate today. They're not just, abstract thoughts. They are genuinely practical guidelines, stuff designed to give clarity, maybe some resilience in, well, a complicated world. It's a valuable perspective if you're actually trying to improve your day-to-day and maybe build a better long-term picture.
Okay, let's get into it then. Rule number 1, stand up straight with your shoulders back.
Yeah.
Sounds simple, right? A physical instruction. But how does Peterson connect this posture thing to our mindset and how others see us?
Well, it's foundational, really. Peterson argues that adopting this kind of assertive posture, it's not just looking confident. It works both ways. Your body language actually sends signals back to your own nervous system. It can reduce anxiety, make you feel a bit more resilient internally. It kind of starts this positive cycle. You're embodying courage even before you maybe fully feel it. And yeah, it definitely signals confidence to people around you. You see it in classrooms or, in big meetings.
Right, so it starts with that physical self-agency. And building right on that is rule number 2. Treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. We hear about self-care, but Peterson seems to push this idea further, more toward actual discipline.
Exactly. This one really makes you rethink self-worth, I think. His point is, we're often way more rigorous, more compassionate, and disciplined in caring for other people, kids, friends, pets even, than ourselves. And that creates this weird disconnect, right? It undermines our own self-discipline. So he's saying apply that same standard of careful, responsible attention inward. Manage yourself like you're something valuable. You have a duty to, well, look after and improve.
Closing that gap. Okay. So you've got self-respect starting to build. Then rule 3 looks outward. Make friends with people who want the best for you. How does the book suggest we actually do that? How do we filter out the negativity in our social lives?
Yeah, the source is pretty blunt about how much your social circle matters for growth, for just general well-being. It's not just steering clear of obviously bad people. It's recognizing that hanging around cynical folks or resentful people, people who aren't genuine, that can actively pull you down. Peterson suggests consciously looking for people who embody things you admire, people striving upwards, because their positive outlook, their willingness to maybe challenge you in a good way, that lifts you up too.
That makes a lot of sense. Which brings us to rule 4. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. This hits that comparison trap, especially with social media everywhere. What's the core idea here about focusing inward?
Well, the source argues that comparing yourself to others is it's a psychological dead end because everyone's path is so incredibly different, so complex. We only ever see the polished version of someone else's life, right? Never the full, messy reality. So instead, this rule pushes for a really personal, practical kind of self-check-in. It's about seeing your progress, even tiny steps, against your own past self. That internal focus is what actually fuels real improvement. You identify what you can do next instead of getting sidetracked by what everyone else appears to be doing.
Shifting the focus to where you actually have control. Okay, rule 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. This one sounds a bit intense, but it's framed as leadership beyond just parenting. What's the lesson on boundaries and respect here?
Yeah, it sounds dark, but it highlights that clear boundaries set early and held consistently are vital in any relationship, not just parent-child. Peterson's point is that if you fail to set limits because you want to be liked or you want to avoid a fight, you actually end up breeding resentment later on, whether it's kids, colleagues, employees. Consistently upholding clear expectations shows you value order, you value truth. And maybe counterintuitively, that earns more respect and leads to healthier dynamics than letting bad behavior slide.
That idea of being proactive with boundaries is, it's powerful. Okay, rule 6. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. This feels like a big call for personal accountability. Why does Peterson argue that fixing our own stuff has to come first?
It's not just about being responsible, it's about effectiveness. Peterson basically contends that real, lasting change in the world often starts with people who first manage their own immediate sphere, their own lives. I mean, if you can't get your own room, your life, habits, relationships sorted out, how effectively can you really critique, let alone change, the huge complexities of the world? It's sort of a call for competence before criticism. Impact flows outward from a solid foundation.
Interesting way to frame it. Competence before criticism. Okay, next up, rule 7. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. This seems to tie together a lot of the earlier ideas about responsibility and looking long term. What's the take on legacy versus quick wins?
Yeah, this one's key. Peterson argues that real meaning comes from taking on responsibility, aiming for something higher, something worthwhile, even when it's hard. The book uses that example of entrepreneurs encouraging them to build something lasting, a legacy, rather than just aiming for a quick sale, a quick flip. Expediency gives you that instant hit, sure, but it often leads to emptiness or, chaos down the line. Pursuing meaning means facing short-term struggle sometimes for the sake of long-term value and, well, truth. It's choosing the harder, better path.
A really crucial distinction. Rule 8. Tell the truth or at least don't lie. Honesty seems obvious, but how does Peterson emphasize truth as being so fundamental for clarity, especially about your own future?
He makes a very strong case that your future really depends on truthful communication, both with yourself and with others. He explains that every lie, even a tiny one, twists reality a little bit for you and for whoever you're talking to. And over time, all those little distortions pile up. They create confusion, fog. You can't see things clearly anymore. And if you can't see reality clearly, well, how can you possibly make good plans or navigate your life effectively? So truth, in this view, is the only way to build a stable foundation to stand on.
That link between truth and just being able to see straight is...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's compelling. Okay, rule 9. Assume that the person you are listening to might know something you don't. How is this framed as more than just being polite? How is humble listening actually a path to innovation or wisdom?
Well, he argues that intellectual arrogance is basically a wall. It shuts you off from new information and, crucially, from the chance to grow. By genuinely being open to the idea that other people have knowledge you lack, even if they don't say it perfectly, you open yourself up. You find new ways to understand things, new ways to solve problems, new ideas. It's really about valuing the search for truth together, more than valuing being right yourself. And that's a powerful driver for progress individually and, collectively.
Right. Actively fighting your own confirmation bias, basically.
Yeah.
Which connects nicely to rule 10. Be precise in your speech. How does Peterson draw that direct line between clear language and actually solving problems or getting things done?
It's a very direct link he makes. Vague goals, vague language. They lead to vague outcomes, often bad ones. He argues that when you're fuzzy with your words, you're fuzzy in your thinking. It's hard to even properly define a problem, let alone find a solution or tell others what you need. Precise speech, on the other hand, forces you to grapple with the actual specifics of a situation. That leads to clearer thinking, more effective action, and makes it more likely you'll actually achieve what you set out to do. It helps bring order out of potential chaos.
The power of words, indeed. Okay, rule 11. This one's maybe the most intriguing. Do not bother children when they are skateboarding. This is kind of quirky, but it's about letting people take risks. How does Peterson argue that freedom to fail builds strength?
Yeah, it's a great one. It really taps into his core idea about confronting chaos. His argument is that if you overprotect people, especially kids, shield them from every risk, every failure, you deny them the chance to encounter the unpredictable things that actually build real competence and resilience. It's not just failure is okay, it's that engaging purposefully with the unknown, even things that seem a bit dangerous, is necessary for psychological strength. It's about letting people voluntarily test themselves against chaos and come out stronger, rather than keeping them wrapped up and fragile.
That makes sense, especially now when maybe we try too hard to eliminate all risk.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and finally, rule 12. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. Such a lovely, almost poetic image. A reminder to find beauty even when things are tough. What's the deeper layer Peterson connects this to?
It is a lovely image, isn't it? It connects to mindfulness, sure. But for Peterson, it's also about consciously asserting order and goodness when you're surrounded by life's inherent chaos and suffering. It's about making a deliberate choice to notice and appreciate beauty, to grab those small moments of grace, of calm. It acts as kind of an antidote to the inevitable hardship and unpredictability. It grounds you, deliberately focusing on the good that's right there, even when the bigger picture feels overwhelming.
Wow. What a tour through these rules. Taken together, they really do offer this incredibly practical yet profound set of tools for, well, dealing with life's complexities and finding that personal strength. It feels quite complete.
It really does, and maybe tying it all together, thinking about the philosophy behind it all. The final thought to leave you with, something reflecting the core message, could be this. Life is suffering, but you can make it meaningful. That really captures it, I think, a powerful idea to take away and consider.